All right, let's bring this
Boom.
in here like this. Boom, boom.
Boom.
Hap-
Whoa. Extreme close up.
you
Let's
like
go.
that?
Yeah.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. A special edition of our live stream. Mike's having a cider. I'm having a coffee here.
Absolutely. Representing our specific countries, I suppose. Sided for
And
Southwest
time
England
zones.
and time zones. Exactly. More importantly, time zones. Yeah. It is the evening here, just past 6. So it's officially not day drinking. So we're okay, I think.
Cheers. Cheers,
Cheers.
brother.
Cheers. Nice to meet you, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, you too. It is my pleasure. And everyone that's watching, again, welcome to this special Friday edition of a live stream. Usually we do Tuesday nights, but Mike and I have been trying to find a time to do it, and with the different time zones, I figured Friday afternoon would be great. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a video recently of Mike, with his interpretation and tribute to Eddie Van Halen for Jump. And dude, that video did what I never thought was possible, and it really gave me an additional appreciation of Eddie's compositional chops. And you did it in such a way. I mean, it might be my very favorite performance or video on YouTube. I just want to tell you face to face, spectacular.
Dude,
And
you've seen like Panda sneezes, right? And those other classic YouTube videos. No?
no,
Just
it's
guitar.
way better. It's way better. It's way better. It's but I wanted to talk about something that you mentioned when you shared that post, and I thank you for doing that. And it's that part where I say that we all have the pressure to keep hitting the upload button, to keep doing it instead of taking your time and really trying to get good and set your intention or whatever that is. And I just wanted to thank you for mentioning that when you shared it, because I really think it's an important thing for all of us to think about and talk about, and not just continuing to put stuff up all the time. You
Well,
really put a lot of thought into what you do.
man, well, first of all, thanks times a million. I mean, dude, that's like, I think it was Nathaniel Murphy, actually, Zeppelin Barnatra on Instagram, who sent me
Yeah.
your video. He sent me a text and said, dude, check this out. And I watched the reaction that you did, and it just touched my heart, man, really. Like, um, it's like during the pandemic, putting music out there without being able to go on tour and have shows, it's kind of like
Yeah.
just putting energy out into the ether, and comments and likes are so arbitrary nowadays, really, that it's not really it's not the same as the energy coming back from like a crowd or something.
Totally.
And that's not supposed to sound particularly egoic or something. It's really an energy thing. And the reason I really enjoyed your video and wanted to message you on Instagram is because you actually hit some certain nails on the head that I think really need to be put out there in the public consciousness about intent, and not just on a technical level with the arrangement, which thank you for your compliment, by the way, but just really in the broader context of artistic intent, and in the age of the pandemic when everyone's trapped online on their devices. I find it consistently difficult to look within myself and find out what it is that I want to actually put out energy wise. So I really wanted to thank you in person, having never met you before, for being so sincere in your little reaction video there, because and also it's pretty much got more views than my video. Like,
which is
I don't know if
fucking crazy.
I don't know if that's like awesome or like kind of depressing, like just in terms of like how the internet functions. It's just, so thank you for, you've certainly got a lot of eyes on my channel, which I really appreciate. I've seen my subscribers have been going up a little bit since you did that. So thank you for the digital candy, Michael. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. It is my pleasure, and it is very easy to do. You did a fantastic job, and I've been a fan of yours for a while. Can I ask you, the other part of the other side of that coin is you said that you, for the first part of the pandemic, weren't playing for a couple months, and then when Eddie died, that inspired you to get back on the horse and dig in for that. On my side, I took a few months off in mid 2019 because I was totally burnt out. And then
Oh,
when I
really?
came and then when I came back, that's when this whole React thing started. I've been on YouTube for 7 years, but that was a result for me of putting it down and taking a break. And I feel like that's also something that we don't talk about all the time. That like sometimes it's okay, if you lose your intent, you lose your, the reason why you do this with your life, to put it down and come back to it. So I was wondering if you would kind of share a little your thoughts on that and why you put it down for a little bit.
Well, I mean, something I guess I was talking to Tommy Emmanuel the other day because I have this podcast I started. One of the kind of projects.
I saw that post with you with Tommy. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to listen to that. I got to meet Tommy. He is the GOAT. I got to meet him once when I was at GIT, when I was a student there, and I was in just a regular like theory class, and the theory teacher was like, I know we're supposed to have a test today, but Tommy Manuel's here today. He's like, we're going, and he's doing a seminar. We're this is what we're doing for our class. Like, everybody, no matter what you do, any instrument, whether it's melodic or rhythmic or whatever, everyone should see Tommy Emmanuel. And like that day totally changed my world. So I just want to put that out there, and then I'll let you keep going.
Tommy Emmanuel, the GOAT. Yeah. Well, I mean. We could talk about Tommy Emmanuel for hours, but one of the things he said in the little interview we did was basically he hasn't been writing much right now. And why hasn't he been writing so much? Well, it's because he's got nothing to write about right now. Like so much of the desire on a personal level to play comes from wanting to express something. And I know that might sound a little bit hippy trippy spiritual man, but that's kind of the way it is with me and the instrument. And the pandemic really opened my eyes to the fact that the vast majority of my playing over the past 8-9 years had been to just practice for or play on stage. It was just like, okay, I've got to practice my tunes, or I've got to write tunes to then release. And there's a reason I've got like only 2 albums and a live album in the space of like a 8 or 9 year career. That's not loads. One of them was a live album, so it doesn't even really count. And that's just because I was always waiting for something to write about. And especially with instrumental music, I think it's very hard to fake that intent. So with the pandemic, it was, I mean, obviously you could write about the pandemic, and yes, I have some tunes I've been working on that are in that vein, but if you don't want to play, then don't play. Like it sounds really dumb. I just did a workshop with BIM, which is a chain of music schools over here in the UK, and they very much want me to say, let's motivate everyone to play all the time. And I just had to say that it's if you really don't feel like playing and creating in this moment, then it's okay to do something else. And it's actually quite constructive to do something else, to find inspiration. And even, I think I was talking to, it might have been Misha Mansour, actually, like a long time ago, talking about how he would take time away from writing and just play video games. And then you get so sick of the video games that you just have to play guitar. And that inspiration, that drive comes. And the Eddie thing, like, there was some more stuff that happened in my private life, when the pandemic started, that kind of threw me off the rails anyway. But the Eddie thing was just like, oh my God, like, it's just tunnel vision inspiration, just like, I didn't want to I was worried about doing a tribute because I didn't want it to come across as crass and some kind of like cash in, which is a real, as a Brit, it's a real concern, like, to do the proper thing. So it was actually my Patreons and my girlfriend that convinced me they didn't convince me to do it, but they kind of let me know that it's okay to do that. So then I made sure that, and I didn't want any ads, and I didn't want, I wanted it to be a free download and a gift. And so it's up on the Bandcamp for free. You can get it like literally just for free. But yeah, the process came as just like a creative shot of inspiration, because it's Eddie Van Halen wouldn't want people to just not play.
And that's so true. And when he passed, we all felt that way. There were so many great tributes out there. I remember the first one I saw, Steve from Boston just like bawling on YouTube. I don't know if you saw that, but
I don't think so. No.
It's an unbelievable video. I mean, that was, I don't think I could put it lighter. I mean, like more lightly or heavier than saying, when you lose the reason that you chose to do with your life, what you're doing, it's really hits you, you know, in a monumentous way. Like it was really, really large for me too. And that tribute that you did, I mean, because there's so much, there's so many things in there that you did that you just don't, you know, you think of you know, a killer hit like Jump, but to have it all broken down on one instrument and to have the bass, to have the percussion, to have the harmony and have the melody and have it all clear in the mix because and all be the same volume because it's on one instrument and
Compression.
have it what'd you say?
Compression.
Compression. Yeah. But what I'm saying is like it's just different. You don't you know when I was watching you I kept picturing in my mind like you know I'd love to hear how you put this stuff together because I kept picturing in my mind like a score you know that a composer would be looking at where you can see all the pieces but like all the pieces were like you know audible and clear and it was like I was hearing it for the first time again. It was really like a fucking gift, man.
No, dude,
And
appreciate the compliment. I mean, it came from a different spiritual plane, obviously, because of the circumstances. But yeah, there's definitely things. There's a bounty of things to talk about in terms of like the process. You know.
So yeah, let's. So for everybody that's just joining, okay, we got Mike Dawes on with us, and let's jump into that process. And I also asked him, like I do with all my guests, to bring some tracks to show the things that kind of like motivate and inspire you that kind of took you down this path. So why don't you set it up? We can talk about the process, and then let's start jumping into some of these tracks because
all right, man.
I know everybody wants to know what you're digging.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, the arrangement itself. I mean, I always when you're doing an arrangement versus an original, the notes are predetermined, right? So I always like to use, and in my past, I've used arranging songs as a means to establishing and developing and learning new sort of what I'd call micro techniques, you know, ways of being able to look at the guitar as wood and wire and facilitate combinations of notes that you might not have considered. Because when you're composing, you have no restriction in your creativity. So it's very easy to say, oh, I can't get that note with this note, with this note. It's impossible. Therefore, I'm going to do a different compositional choice. But with a song like Jump, that's so iconic, everyone knows those triads. Everyone knows David Lee Roth's lines. Yeah. Everyone knows the solos, right? The synth solos. You have to figure out ways of achieving that. And the way to do that is really to just almost, this might sound like a freaking fortune cookie approach, but like forget everything you know about the guitar and look at it as wood and wire. And when you start understanding like things like harmonics and how harmonics are actually produced, you can adapt your technique to facilitate those ideas through experimentation. For example, harmonics, you only need two things to get a harmonic: a vibration of the string and part of your body touching one of those magic little nodes, right? So vibration of the string doesn't have to be picking it with your right hand. It could be a pull-off or a hammer-on or a tap or anything. The touching of the node doesn't have to be with your left hand. It could be with this hand, or it could be with it could be over the sound hole, because the 12th fret is a mirror. You know, you can go that way as well as that way. And when you start understanding the physics of the instrument on that level, things like the solo, when I was trying to get Eddie's artificial harmonics, you know, and then that little kind of quarter bend half harmonic he's doing, you know, I'm looking at that as something I can achieve over the sound hole by mirror imaging the 12th fret, so I can still pick that bass note and I can still hit that kick drum and I can hit that snare and I can hammer on that bass note. But there's always something you can do wherever your hands are if you understand how the guitar works on a physical level. They just don't teach that in the textbooks, you know. It comes from a lot of being a nerd.
No, that's and that's what it looks like. Like,
yeah, I am
like,
nerd.
What?
I got tape on my glasses, dude, because they're broken and we're in lockdown here. So I look like Rick Moranis. It's great. Love it.
Rick Moranis from
Rick Moranis?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That guy.
Yeah, Ghostbusters, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like Buddy Christ, Rick Moranis right now. Yeah.
Buddy, did you just drop a Buddy Christ on me? Dude, you and I need to you and I need to have some beers together.
6 p.m.
Okay, so but watching you do it, I see that. Like I see all the different parts and it looks like okay, let me ask you this. Do you learn when you're going to tackle something like that? Do you learn the keyboard part all the way through? Do you learn that? Do you learn the percussion all the way through? Do you learn Eddie's part? Do you learn the bass all the way through?
No way.
And,
The reason for that is because there's so many elements. You have to
yeah,
go one beat at a time. And the reason you have to go one beat at a time is because all those elements have to be combined together. If one, there's no point learning the bass line for a section before learning everything else, because you might not then be able to achieve that in the position that you are going to have to play, right? Well, bass line's a different example. You should always know what the lowest note is, and you should know what key the song is, and you should know what the root is,
yeah.
because that will dictate your tuning. So I actually modulated the arrangement to D. It's in C, but I made it in D because the tension of the strings work just much better on an acoustic guitar with these gauges on this, right? So it had to be in D, right?
This is so fascinating, by the way. I just love that, most of us, like we have the guitar and then we figure out what we can do on the guitar with what we hear in our head. And what you're saying is like you have the music and the guitar, whether it's you use the tuning for the tension or where you hit for the percussion or where you get the harmonics.
It would sound garbage in C if I was playing it the same way, because it would. There's something else that I want to talk to you about actually, which I think is often overlooked by people getting into it. Which is actually, when you're talking about tension, something that that I really value is the attack of a note. So I always want the attack of a note to be. Remember when you started using general MIDI for the first time and drum samples were really early, and you'd have a snare drum roll and it would be like go 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 go, because it would sort of machine gun. Old MIDI percussion has the same attack, so it didn't sound very natural. I think that's the same when you're trying to arrange something like a vocal. I'm always trying to, no lyrical phrase in a song all starts with the same letter. It's not da 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 or fa 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 fa. A vocal phrase is fa la ba la la. Words have different attacks. So why should you not apply that to your arrangement when you're playing with melody, right? It makes it more lyrical and it makes it sound like a human. So an example of that would be the beginning of the arrangement where,
All right, I'll zoom out.
Excuse me, I'm burping because you got cider.
Oh, you're
cider
good. You're good. You're good.
The beginning of the song could have started like this, just playing the triads, but I wanted to have it start with something that was more accurate to the style of the keys, right? So I decided to start with hammer-ons to replicate the fact that it is a synth. However, that by itself doesn't sound great on a recording because you get the note behind the note. This is something that a lot of players don't listen to when they're arranging, and then when they get to the studio, it's all exposed with the condenser mic.
Yes.
But when you hammer on a note, you get that horrible note from behind, right? Now, live that doesn't matter because your pickups are picking up what you want to hear from around here. In the studio, you can't hide from that. So that's why at the beginning of the song, I have the hand over, because it's just touching the strings.
So you don't get those overtones.
You get a super clear hammer to replicate the synth. So that, for example, would be something where it's not being yelled from the rooftops that's why I'm doing that. But you could have some person that doesn't know that saying, he's got his hands crossed over, oh, I hate these modern clickbait thumbnails. You know what I mean? But everything has a purpose, and that's really...
Yes.
That's what I'm saying when it earlier when I was talking about what was I talking about? I've completely lost my train of thought. It's the cider. Technique is a means to a musical end, dude. You know what I mean? So anything that's done in this style, you're trying to facilitate the notes you're trying to get in the best and cleanest way possible, because you can't hide on acoustic guitar, man. It's like it's the most naked kind of instrument.
Absolutely
Yeah,
true.
but then you cover it in compression and everything sounds great. And reverb.
But I mean, I find that so fascinating, and it's all of us get stuck in ruts where we feel like we don't we're just playing the same stuff over and over again, and we're not coming up with anything new. And I just realized just talking to you that when I pick this thing up, I mean never. And when I mean, and everybody's different, but I mean never do I think to myself, okay, I'm going to adapt this, whether it's the tuning or the tension or the string or even like to get to try to achieve to try to get the musical sound that I want. My whole world has always been, can I make this, like, can I conquer this, not to alter this, and
Yeah,
it's just,
I mean,
I just realized there's a whole side that I don't explore. You're fascinating me right now.
right. Thanks. I mean, I always try and let the creativity come from here rather than here. But obviously,
Exactly.
there's a lot more you can do with the guitar. I guess I should say the setup of a guitar, the tuning, the string tension, the string material. I mean, if you're talking about magnetic pickups, different string materials will yield different outputs. And when you're running pedals on an acoustic guitar, the routing with the pickups, all of that stuff is really important. So on the Jump cover, and I released a live album last year, which is probably maybe a good example for maybe people discovering me on your stream right now. The album's called Shows and Distancing, and that is basically pedal board, output, and room mics. So you can hear how certain effects are used on the acoustic guitar, where you've got, say, a totally clean piezo channel, but then the magnetic pickup gets split into different pedals and sent stereo. And there's loads of creative stuff you can do with gear for sure. But at the end of the day, if it's not in the fingers, then you don't want to be relying on gear to make up for a shortfall in your practice or your technique.
Absolutely.
But there's definitely a geeky science side to the solo guitarist's realm, 100%. Rick Moranis.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. It's
yeah.
It is truly inspiring. All right, so before we jump into the tracks,
you're a very, very kind man, and this is all because of Eddie Van Halen, man. Let's I want everyone to remember that. Gift.
Well, and that's another thing that I mean, he obviously gets tons of credit for.
Dude, Eddie Van Halen is an underrated guitar player.
What? I actually agree. I agree because I feel like since he passed, people like you are doing the things that people like you do, but we're also getting all these little isolated things that are popping up, and you're starting to hear all the like for anybody that hasn't heard it, I feel like I talk about it a lot. Dweezil Zappa, who was on the channel a couple months ago, has this podcast where they go track by track and invite all these guitar players out to talk about the nuances of isolated Eddie tracks, right?
Dude, I think Jason from Premier Guitar told me about this. Is he involved in this stuff? I think?
Yes. Yes. Jason is the one that hooked me up with Dweezil.
Shout out to Jason.
Is Jason everywhere, or is Jason everywhere?
Just pops up on my webcam every now and then.
Dude, he's everywhere. But anyhow, that podcast is great because you're hearing, all these isolated tracks and stories are starting to come out. And when you hear it in context in the mix, like, that's how we remember it, that's how we know it. But when you hear it like just by itself and just in the one channel
on tape,
and you're just like, wow, this is like, it's just so much better than I thought. And to your point, adapting the instrument to get the sound in your head out. Oh, dude.
Yeah, totally. That's a Van Halen thing, and a Tommy thing. Like talking to Tommy on my podcast he basically created the modern acoustic guitar pickup system, like in Australia with Maton. I didn't realize, but yeah,
I didn't know that.
Dude, it's the man is amazing. Tommy Emmanuel and Eddie Van Halen, man. Like whenever I see anyone like, honestly underrated, and I think Eddie Van Halen's playing today would be considered brave because it's quote unquote imperfect, but that's what gives it its balls and its vibe, and
There are so many.
Semi-harmonic, transcribing Van Halen is hard because it's so imprecise. It's so beautifully imprecise. It's punk rock. Attitude.
There are so many. And they left it all in. They left it all in there. There's so many. You could call them quote unquote mistakes, but there are so many. Even in like rhythm parts. Like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna play one because that's what the hell we do here.
Bring the I'm into it.
All right.
I think Eddie's rhythm work is fuck so good.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out. We're going on a hard tangent here. Drop dead legs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we all know this, but like the part when it goes into the lead here. All right. Let me bring this up. Listen to Eddie's rhythm part, and like it moves so much. Like it almost sounds like a flub, but there's so much mojo in it. They're just like, fuck it, we're gonna leave it in there. Just listen to him grind on the low strings. I gotta find where it comes in, and you'll hear it. Like it sounds like a mistake, and it's you can't hide anywhere. But they just left it in. Now listen to his low parts. You hear it right there? You hear it right there? Go back a couple clicks.
It's jamming in your garage with your mates. You know?
I know. But like, and then you'd think they'd stop the take, like, oh no, I screwed up. No. We're just going to go for 2 more minutes, do the whole lead, do the whole track, and then we'll listen back. Like, I love this part. This is one of my favorite parts of any Van Halen thing, just right here. I mean, it is, and they just left it like that. It's amazing.
Playing the guitar, and nowadays, like the pressure to make everything sound not like someone playing guitar, and I'm a victim to this as well. I mean, it's in the studio. It's like the temptation to just be a robot is huge because we're in a very overly saturated market of guitar and. Everyone else sounds like a robot, so why shouldn't I sound like a robot? And that's what I love about listening to Eddie is humans being, man, humans being.
That's it. Okay,
I love it.
So I want to get into your tracks.
I love this, man. It's like just geeky out YouTube music party.
Dude, this is what the channel is all about. It's about one finding stuff you otherwise wouldn't listen to, and 2, being motivated and inspired to play things you otherwise wouldn't.
And that's it.
I'm
gonna pull your watchers, viewers, listeners to the dark side and infiltrate their subconscious with acoustical guitar. And okay, so I sent you a video, and it's the first one I sent you, and so this guy is my hetero life mate from Finland. Petteri Sariola. Okay. Now, Petteri Sariola, Petterisariola. Tough to spell, maybe, maybe not. Now, I discovered Pete on MySpace back in the day.
Look at you.
MySpace was a social media website before Facebook, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at you dropping a MySpace.
And I was really into a lot of fingerstyle guitar players at the time. I was getting into it. Pierre Ben Susan, Tony McManus, even Tommy Emmanuel stuff I was exposed to. And then I saw this Finnish guy, and he is doing stuff that inspired me to... First of all, he introduced me to my luthier, Andreas Kuntz. So we play the same maker's guitar. And he inspired me to basically work on my right hand, and he managed to make fingerstyle guitar, which at that point I just saw as a folky kind of gentle thing. he showed me how to play it in the context of just rock. And if you play this video, it's a Wham cover, okay, first of all, which is just ridiculous by definition. But when it kicks in, and by the way, he sings as well. Beautiful guy, great voice as well. But when it kicks in, I want you to watch his right hand. And his right hand, not just his right hand, but also the fact that he's using the amazing Boss octave pedal, the OC3, and a lot. And he's hammering on his isolated octave bass, combined with his right hand.
Yeah.
And
thanks, Richard.
Shout out to Richard. And I mean, just watch and listen, and just and we have toured together so many times. I love him. He's one of the best people in the world. Such a good heart. And when you know someone has a good heart, it makes you enjoy their music even more. So bear in mind, this is Wham. So you have been whammed. But please do a deep dive on this guy when you get a chance. I think he should be on the front cover of every guitar magazine in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And any opportunity to give him a shout out, I'll take. He's one of my favorite musicians in the world, and an absolute innovator, and a very underrated innovator. And I think we should all work to change that.
Love it. So how do you say his name? Pietri Sariola?
Petteri Sariola, or Petteri Sariola in Finland. They do the whoop on the first syllable. Petteri Sariola. I just call him Pete. He's my mate Pete, and
I call him Pete.
Just enjoy Pete.
Okay, starting from the beginning, go to the end. Just do it.
Whatever you want, man. I just want you guys to just witness how he plays and understand that people don't play like that. And the right hand in particular, if we're looking at the guitar technique stuff, just watch and understand that you can do any of what he's doing on an acoustic guitar with your right hand. And I had never seen this before until I met Pete. Okay,
let's dive in real quick. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. We appreciate you too. Thank you, Jana Farmer. And, and thank you, Nathan. Oh, yeah, that's a good question because there's so many moving parts in Dead Stuff. We'll get back to that after we watch this. All right, here we go.
Yana will like Pete. She's a Pete fan as well.
Okay. This is ice cold for me. I've never seen this.
You put the boom boom into my heart. You send my soul sky high when your loving starts. Jitterbug into my brain.
By the way, the bottom is down to G.
Wait, what did you say?
The bottom string is down to G.
Left me sleeping in my bed. I was dreaming, but I should have been with you instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit the hay. Wake me up before you go. 'Cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you go. Take me dancing tonight. I wanna hit that You take the gray skies out of my way. You make the sun shine brighter than Doris Day. Turn my spark into a flame. My beats per minute never been the same. 'Cause you're my lady, I'm your fool.
You get it.
Makes me
Yeah.
dance when you act so cool. Come on, baby.
Yeah, that bass sound is awesome.
We'll go dancing and everything will be alright. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit the hay. Wake me up before you go. 'Cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you
note behind the note.
Yep.
Cuddle up, baby, we're moving tight. We'll go dancing tomorrow night. It's cold out there, but it's warm in bed. If they can't dance, we'll stay home instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up.
Yeah, that right hand, man.
Go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit that high. Before you go, 'cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you go home. Wake me I wanna hit that high.
My beautiful boy.
Yeah, dude. He's great. Yeah, that low. It's a low G. He's got that tuned down too.
I believe that's he has a lot of songs where it's a low G. Actually, I believe it's Dadgad with a low G. So you can kind of get these crazy inversions. But he's playing, as far as I recall, with a 53, which is insane. I mean, I play with a 56
Yeah.
on the bottom, and that's like I take that to C, and that's the lowest I'll go.
Slinky.
But it's the touch, man. And when you have a magnetic pickup and you use the octave on it, and it's all about the touch. And this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, you can have all the pedals in the world, but if you don't have the touch, it's not going to work. You're going to go sharp, you
Yeah.
know. And Pete's show as a live act, he has a bunch of live clips on YouTube that people can check out. I played with him, and we've maybe done like 5 or 6 tours of Germany together. We played in Finland together, in the UK, and it's breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like, he's special, man, and people need to see him live if they can when this is all over, for sure. He's got his latest album is all his stuff's on Spotify. Some really interesting covers and really amazing originals as well. Definitely worth checking out.
Love it, man. Well, that's what this channel is all about, man. I'm glad we can shine a little light on him. Everybody that's watching, I dropped a link to that in the chat, so you can, if you want to go and give him a sub, give him a view.
Please do.
Please do.
Sub. And yeah, he's got his new records on vinyl as well, which is really great.
All right, so let's go over that question that Nathan asked before. We got a lot of deadheads on this channel. I've been digging deep into that genre. You know, they're known for so many different moving parts. You ever tried to tackle a tune like that?
Am I gonna like piss off a lot of people by saying that I really have not delved into the dead world? The reason for that is because in the UK, and as someone born in 1989 from the UK, it's really not an active part of my personal musical upbringing. However, I do session for a guy called Justin Hayward, who's the frontman of the Moody Blues.
Yes.
Yeah, we've worked together since 2013, and I open the shows as well. So the next time we go out, I'll play that jump to open the Justin Hayward show. But he obviously, his audience, there's a lot of deadheads in the audience. You know?
Yeah.
So I would associate myself more with the, very much the same era, but maybe the more kind of European bands I was exposed to. So sorry to disappoint. Totally. But people have told me before I should get into that, and I'm sure I will. Maybe the pandemic is a good excuse to do that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I totally get it. It's like an American kind of thing. But there's
back in the day when there was no internet, it's like where did the record labels send out the stuff, and territories mattered more. With musical reach.
I know it wasn't just everything everywhere. It's hard to even imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
And the other thing I wanted to go back to before we jump into your next track, and again, anybody that's watching, welcome. I see the mods out there. You guys are doing a great job. Welcome everyone to this special live stream, this Friday edition with Mike Dawes.
Should I be looking at these comments? Oh wow, there's comments. I had it on private chat, so I was like, I didn't see any. Oh
no, see, we got all the comments. So if you see some questions, you can let me know,
cool.
and I can look. I can click them and put them up on the stream.
Very cool, man. I gotta pick your technical brain. I should do something like this on my channel. / Mike Dawes Official, everybody. Should go sub.
I mean, yes, you should. Yes, you should. Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the question I had for you. And anybody else, if you have a question for Mike, drop it in the chat.
Sorry. Can I just say to everybody, B&B to the moon, as my buddies who have now hijacked this stream, B&B to the moon, everybody. Get on it. Thank you, Casper. Find your local crypto exchange and buy BNB. Thank you very much. I'm not a financial advisor. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what that means.
It means we've been doing a lot of gambling in the past few weeks with cryptocurrency in this little fingerstyle guitar community, and it's been a good day.
Really?
BNB to the moon, everybody.
That's hilarious.
I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an idiot.
What does BNB stand for?
Oh, it's a particular altcoin that is doing particularly well over the past sort of 48 hours. And my boys in the chat have been having a wonderful day with BNB.
It looks like it. I'm watching it now.
I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me.
That is hilarious. Hilarious. Okay. All right. Hey, so again, welcome anybody that's new to the chat, new to the stream. If you have any questions, ask him. If you have any tracks that you think Mike would enjoy, drop them in the. Drop them in. Yeah, that's the other thing we do here. We go the other way, and show you stuff that you might not have seen. All right. So the next question I have for you is go backwards real quick.
Yeah.
You say when you learn covers, you go bar by bar. So how do you? How do you pen and paper break that down? How do you do that? Like exactly.
So it's bar by bar, but also, and then it goes back and it all gets redone constantly.
Sure.
So, for example, let me think of an example here. Okay, so do you know the song "Somebody That I Used to Know"?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so I did an arrangement of that years ago, and it keeps blowing up online on random people's channels. Not my channel though, thanks very much. But there's plenty of other people getting their "Somebody That I Used to Know" on. But when I wrote that,
YouTube's a fickle beast, isn't it?
Hey man, I'm just happy to get the music out there, But when going through something like that, we all know that bum 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 ba 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 bum, blah blah black sheep, have you any wool. I would go through beat by beat, right? So we've got, I would think, okay, what do we have in the percussion? We have a bass. What do we have in the bass? We have a D. What do we have in the melody? We have a staccato note here. So how do we play that? Well, I could pick and release like this, but it creates a little fart sound. You hear that?
Yes.
So maybe instead of releasing, I should plant with the right hand, right? So that tick, that's that beat, done, right? So I would go through the process like that. Whoop, I'm playing at a weird angle. But when I get that up to here, I need a C in the bass, but I can't reach down here. So I then have to think, okay, well, let's change the tuning. And then we get the harmonic. And so the tuning will change as the piece progresses. But if you get too far into a song, you then have to go back and kind of hard grade what you've done and start again. So there was one song I did. It was a cover of a song called Titanium by David Guetta.
Yeah.
And it started in Dadgad and ended up in like C, G, D, G, B flat, C. Because
because that's what it took.
Yeah, it's what it took, man. Exactly. You got to put the grind in. But and some songs I'll belligerently stick at it. Like I did a cover of "Slow Dancing in a Burning Room" by John Mayer, and there's a video of it that's people are enjoying right now, which was part of the live albums. There's a live version where I do a bit of looping at the end, and the audience get involved. It's really a nice moment. But that's in standard tuning, and that was really tough to consistently do in standard tuning because you're in E major, but you've got a D string and a G string, which you don't want to hit when you're playing open resonant chords with sustain. So avoiding the G natural on that arrangement was really tricky to do, and I was almost going to change it, but yes, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you're not going to be able to achieve what you want with the tuning that you started, unfortunately.
I hear you. So Alex says he bumped into you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Fist bump.
Oh,
That's amazing.
That is amazing. All right, so let's go into another track. And again, if anybody has any questions or tracks you think Mike hasn't seen, throw them up there, and we'll let him pick one.
Yeah,
now,
man,
the next,
it's so fun. I'm going to switch my little thing to fade between. There we go. Get a sexy fade on. It's the evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting sexy.
It's the evening.
Sexy, yeah.
All right. So the next track you sent is one that I was going to play. Typically, when I have guests,
really?
Yeah, I like to open it with a surprise or something that I think that they would like. And you sent me the email of the tracks beforehand, and I was like, this guy's throwing a Ben Lacey at me.
Yes, dude.
Dude, Ben Lacey, I don't know if the dude is going to go to the next NAMM. I don't know if he tours, if he just stays in his town.
For sure. I've seen him at NAMM, every NAMM I've been to.
So I found him post the last NAMM, right?
And, wow.
Yeah. And I am blown away by this guy. Like, he is... yeah, he's unbelievable.
He's got the king's attitude as well, which is why I love Ben. Because
have you met him?
Yeah. So, man, Ben Lacey. So I discovered Ben when YouTube first happened. There's a video of him playing, I think it was like Kashmir or something, at Muriel Anderson's All-Star Guitar Night on YouTube. But I met him at NAMM. I'm a huge fan. I bought his True Fire course back in the day as well. And actually, there's a technique that I use on an arrangement of Superstition that I did, which is my attempt at kind of Ben Lacey-ifying a fingerstyle guitar song. So he's been very influential, actually. But I actually got him connected with the Tonewood amp people. The Tonewood amp is this device that sticks on the back of your guitar, which I use and like everything. And he came and just rocked up and started playing on their booth at NAMM. And here's the thing about music over Flash, right? We were talking about this, people always clicking upload, maybe not cooking their tunes for as long as they could. Ben Lacey, if he sits down and plays at a booth at NAMM, people come, then more people come, then more people come, then the crowd grows and grows and grows and grows, and then the security come and he gets shut down. That's what happens because the subconscious appeal of Ben Lacey's groove and musicality is something that translates any kind of temporary visual candy. The guy just hits you right in the music bone, right in the groove bone, and you stay and you watch and you cannot leave. Not only that, he has the heart of gold. I mentioned before about enjoying people's music when you know that they have hearts of gold, right? Mm-hmm. We were in Nashville at Summer NAMM, and I needed to get to Lexington, Kentucky to play a show, and I had no way of getting there. And he was like, "Hey, brother, don't worry about it. Just like jump in the back. We'll take you to Lexington, Kentucky." Just like across. And then on the way, he was like, "Hey, Mike, do you have McDonald's in the UK? Do you know the Big Mac? We should get a Big Mac." I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And then we met another time at a Waffle House. We just I was in town playing a show, and we met up at Waffle House at like 1 a.m. And the guy honestly has no interests other than just playing music for the love of playing music, and that is so important to understand. When you see him playing in his armchair at home, grooving, improvising, just being himself, that's what makes his music special, as well as his mind-blowing and very unique technique on the electric guitar.
With that, Ben Lacey, everyone.
Another right-hand man.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you got to get up and do a lap.
Sometimes you gotta just do a lap. He's just hanging out.
Dude. Yeah. He's like, honey, can you get me a beer?
Love it. And it's a lot of improv as well. I've seen him play this live. He's just grooving. He's just doing his thing.
He just has it.
Yeah, because he's put the work in.
Huge.
Oh God, he's put the work in, guys.
Yeah.
Put the work in.
Double bass.
What the fuck?
Dude. Okay. I mean,
King, absolute king.
just like you did. Sometimes you got to just get up and do a lap, you know? Like, okay. He's put the work in, right?
He's
Like
put
that's
the part and he's put the work in. Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Hear it.
Oh my God. It's his stuff grooves harder than most of the originals. Like
Yeah, I mean,
like there's a swing to that it, I mean, it might be funkier than the record, man. Like it's like deep. Like I mean, he's got it in spades.
yeah, it's when you see him play live, he's having a good time 100% of the time, and you can see it in his face. And that's
I don't think I've ever
infectious.
seen his face. I think I've only seen this shot of him.
Well, look,
which
I
is
mean,
amazing.
so the reaction video format, right? It works because people love, on a deep subconscious level, they love to see human emotion expressed.
Yes.
Like physically, I mean, if someone smiles, you smile. If they yawn, you yawn. It's like
Yes.
it's a deep thing in our DNA. When you see Ben Lacey play and the fun he's having while he's playing, you don't want to leave. It's like a drug. And I've seen this at countless NAMMs. I've never seen him play a concert of his own, but at the NAMMs, which is, by the way, for anyone in the chat who's never been to a NAMM or perhaps isn't a musician who's played at NAMM, playing at NAMM fucking sucks. It's not an easy place to play.
So
it's like
true.
you've got some, I was playing on a booth, and then literally next door to me, Marty Friedman starts playing with the amp on 11. It's like, what can you do? How can you create an atmosphere with Marty Friedman next to you? You know, it's not an easy place to play, and when some people have that joy inside them and
Yeah,
that artistry, and they've put in the hours and that groove, like the crowds just grow. It's always the biggest crowd at the booth, man, is when Ben Lacey rocks up, and I love it, man. Shout out to Ben Lacey, and thanks for giving me that lift to Lexington. Him and his wife, really kind to get me over to that show.
Where is he located? Where's he live? What
I
part?
think it is Lexington, or
okay,
like
yeah.
maybe Louisville, somewhere in Kentucky. He's Kentucky based.
Yeah, I need to do a Ben Lacey vid. I mean, there's just like yours. There's a 0%.
Where are you based?
I'm in Baltimore, so I'm like
Oh,
Washington
right on.
D.C., like East
Oh,
Coast.
yeah, know it really well. Okay, cool.
You say you know it really well?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time there. Well, actually, in Bethesda, I know. I've been there a lot. Recorded there in the studio, and
What are you doing in Bethesda?
dude? I mean, well, first of all, every time I play with Justin Hayward, we play in all over like Virginia and Maryland. So we do Rams Head, Annapolis. Last year I did Owings Mills at the Gordon Center, the Wolf
Dude,
Trap.
you're in my backyard.
Yeah, dude, I've played Wolf Trap Barns like 10 times. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's a small world over on
When real life resumes and you come over, I will be where you go.
And also the Periphery guys used to be based around there, so I would hang with them a
Still
lot.
are. Still are.
Yeah. There's a studio there run by a guy called Taylor Larson, who I recorded out with a different project with. Those. It's just a cool area, cool people, close to some good airports. You know, it's a good spot to be.
Yeah, it is a really good spot to be. Yeah, man. Anytime next time you come back, I'd love to hang out and have some beers and show you around, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to do a video on Ben Lacey, and like I was going to say, like yours. I mean, there's no chance that I can just come up with the techniques and show what's going on, but more people need to see it. You know what I mean? It's just the percussion is. Yeah,
I have no idea what he's doing, but my bastardized approach of it was to create a 1E and a 2E and which is very different from him on the electric guitar. But by creating a sort of finger on, drag off, you can create that kind of groove. And as a child, without much access to his content, I was assuming he was kind of doing something like that. And kind of grooving with the, kind of grooving like that. But that's not what he's doing, but that was like my bastardized Ben Lacey.
Yeah.
He's got a True Fire course, by the way, which explains it.
Really?
Checking out, yeah, for sure.
Now, have you ever...
By Toto.
Yeah, dude, I know. I've seen that one. Have you ever tried to do kind of what you do on an electric like he does? I feel like most people do it or try on an acoustic, and he's one of the few guys, at least that I know, that really, really gets the percussion on the electric well.
Yeah. So what he's doing, which works. First of all, I have gross fingernails on my picking hand, and that's to facilitate a lot of the aforementioned harmonic techniques and things, right? But it's harder to get that beef when you have fingernails because of all the popping.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks,
Sean.
These guys are so nice, man. But on the electric, what he's doing is he's getting a lot of bass from techniques that on an acoustic guitar would be considered snare drum frequency techniques. So when you slap a string, if you do it on the neck pickup with the tone rolled off on an electric, you can actually get a thump. Whereas on the acoustic, you're going to get a slap, right? So
yeah.
Using the techniques that I would use, but flipping it on its head, and doing it in his own way that yields different results, which is very interesting.
Right on. You want to take a request, man?
Take a request? What, Jerry?
No, not to play, but for me to play you a track.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm always up for listening to Jerry Reed.
All right, you know this one? This is from Tom Haviland. Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it. Lightning Rod, 1977?
Maybe not that video. I used to play a bunch of Jerry Reed back in the day, but then my fingers decided no. You're like, why are you doing this to us?
That's amazing. Yeah, Jerry Reed is a bad man. All right, let's blow this up. Tom, thank you so much. Let's put this on here.
Wow, man, with the guitar, Jerry Reed to play Lightning Rod.
Well, it says start at 45. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, man, Jerry Reed's a beast.
Dude, I mean, I back in the day, I learned Jerry's Breakdown. Which is him and Chet, and
yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there's a deep dive on the internet of perhaps me playing it with Petri, actually, I think Petri and a guy called John Dignam from Wales. But I can't play that style. It's the really fast kind of bluegrass kind of picking stuff. If I shed it for like a week, then I can get away with it. But it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
in the DNA right now. But I love the style for sure.
Do you know Eric Mongrain? You see this on
Yeah,
the
last time I saw Eric was in 2013, and we got absolutely hammered and ended up on the floor of a Tim Hortons at 5 a.m. And there's a wonderful photo if you go really deep on my Instagram to 2013. Love the guy; he's amazing. And actually, I consider him a very unique guitar player and a very underrated guitar player for that reason. He has a couple of songs where he lays the guitar flat, and that's actually how I started. The first compositions I made long before I recorded anything were with the guitar flat, tapping notes. And the reason for that was my headstock was being glued back on after I dropped the guitar. So it was the only way to play guitar, right? So I thought, hey, this is cool. So I open mic'd it a bit. Anyway, saved enough money to buy an acoustic, put it upright, and then here we are. Eric's stuff, he gets pigeonholed as the guy that does that, which I think is a real shame because his music, vast majority of his music, which is conventional position, is so, it's art. You know, it's pure expression, and it's his unique expression. I really like it, and I opened for him once back in, must have been 2010. I opened for him at a local folk club in a town called Bournemouth in the UK. Love him. I haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he's doing well. But he's a real innovator on the acoustic guitar, not because of the horizontal playing, but because of his approach to composition. I think he's really wonderful.
Right on. All right. Let's move on to your next track, if you will.
What is next?
This is Jack Gardner.
Ah, my boy. Okay. Can I give a little background quickly?
Oh, did you have to?
Oh, this is electric guitar now. The electronical guitar board, which many of you will know from Michael's channel, is another instrument in the guitar realm, an arguably more popular instrument, which is probably why you're here. I have one there. So Jack Gardner opened for me in Liverpool, UK, back in like 2014 or 2015. And this guy back then, aged 16 years old, 15 years old, absolutely had my jaw on the floor. Then we went out. Then his hair caught fire because that was just a bar in Liverpool, and that was fun. Anyway, fast forward to 2020. Fast forward to 2020, he finally released his debut EP, and this shit it's called Escapades. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. It's my favorite guitar release of 2020. Okay. And I may or may not be about to release a track with him. So I in fact, screw it. I'll tell you guys as an exclusive.
May or may not.
Well, so I've
Thanks, Eddie.
next month I'm going to release a single on my YouTube channel, which is / Mike Dawes Official. And I wanted to have Jack on the track playing with me. The reason for that is, first of all, I believe sincerely that he's the new Guthrie Govan. And I don't say that lightly, right?
Big statement.
He is coming out of the UK with a style of playing that is real. He doesn't edit his stuff to death. He always uploads on his Instagram pages multiple videos in a row where it's a one-take improv, and there's bits of mistakes like we were talking about Eddie Van Halen. But he's got that Guthrie Govan kind of Nick Johnston kind of flavor to his playing, and he touches a spice, a hint of neo soul, but not to the Instagram cliche realm.
Yeah,
he has his own voice, and I just think the world needs to hear him. So any opportunity to shout about Jack in the same way as shouting about like Petri, right, and Ben, any opportunity, it's like, So Jack will be on the track, and there will also be a certain Australian electric guitar prog virtuoso featuring on the track as well. So yeah, check that out when it comes out.
You are dangling some carrots out there.
I'm just
friend.
stroking the shaft and tickling the ball.
Right. That's right. You gotta give a little reach around. All right.
And this song is Jack's title track, or not title track, but the main single from his EP Escapades, and he shot it where he lives now, which is in Switzerland, because he was like, Brexit, fuck that, I'm moving to Switzerland. And judging by the backdrop, I think he made the right decision. Take a look.
Yeah. All right. I don't think I know who this is, so I'm stoked, especially with that setup. Here we go. Jack Gardner. Oh yeah, Switzerland's beautiful.
Yeah, fuck you, Jack.
Look at the long flowing locks.
Love it. My boy, my baby boy. These little boys are from the south, though. What are you talking about?
By the way, the middle pickup single coil Strandberg sound, I love it. I love it.
Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Here, let's go a little more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, listen.
You can hear how it's a real person playing, right?
Here, say that again.
You can hear how it's a real human playing the guitar.
Yeah. No, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's
That's
sick, man.
awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I think when you told me to kind of think of a few videos to share,
Yeah.
I realized I was thinking about what to share, and I was thinking, hey, should I do like Iron Maiden videos that inspired me when I was younger? And I think what I ended up doing was thinking, I've been so privileged through touring to have crossed paths with some absolutely outstanding musicians, and I feel like people need to know about these great people who are wonderful humans who are making wonderful music. And so the stuff I've shared so far has been pretty much my mates. It's a bit weird, but it's
great.
Hopefully the intent is hopefully people are discovering some interesting music. You know?
No, I mean that's literally the point, you know. I mean of this whole community. So no, I'm glad that's what you chose to do, because I mean you're 2 for 3 so far of people I don't know.
Oh, really? That's great. That was also the intent, you know. Was like let's see if there's some new stuff for people to discover, you know.
Well, and that's like what I told you on, you know, when we DM'd. And, you know, and it's just like, I do things a little differently. Imagine you're just having beers with your friends, being like, oh, you like that? Check this out. And then we play guitar. Yeah, exactly.
It's all gone
Man,
wrong.
I'm pissed that it's only 2:00 here and I can't have a beer with you. I
It's
guess I
also
could, but
Friday,
I don't
which
have
means
one.
nothing. It means nothing during the pandemic, does it? The day of the week, but there we go.
Yeah, I just got a text message from my wife saying, "Can we take the kids ice skating today?" And I just texted her back because we have an infant named Jack, and I'm just like, "Sure, but isn't Jack plus ice equal bad?" You know, and so I shouldn't have a bunch of beers because it looks like I might have to take my kids ice skating.
That's all right, man. Beers plus
But-
ice skating. What could go wrong?
Well, we'll have beers after ice skating, I believe. Yeah, John Gomm is great. I did a video on
Yeah.
John Gomm. He's
Uncle John.
fantastic. Thanks, Alex. Uncle John.
Yeah, on my on my channel and on Spotify and everything, I started a podcast during the pandemic called Mike Dawes Has a Podcast, which Uncle John came on for an episode, and thanks, Alex. We had Andy McKee, Kaki King, John Gomm, Mark Holcomb, Pliny, Tommy Manuel,
Yeah.
whole bunch of crazy players, and we're currently taking suggestions for season 2, by the way. So if you want to slide into the DMs at any point, it would be good to pick your guys' brain as to who you want to see interviewed on season 2. But yeah, John Gomm, we met way back in the day, and I've called him Uncle John forever. And we've played together a million times, and we have a lot of stories. And shout out to Uncle John for sure.
Love it. Matt Story wants to know: are you familiar with Billy Strings?
Yeah, never met the guy. I think we've exchanged a few Instagram story tag / double tap heart likes, but that's the extent of our conversation. But I was on tour with Tommy Emmanuel in New York, in the East Coast a couple of years ago, and we were in the Catskills, and there was a day off for me because he was booked for this festival called, I think it was the Grey Fox Music Festival or something.
Mm-hmm.
So the merch guy and I had the day off because the festival has its own merch. We went and saw Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark at a drive-in movie, which I'd never been to before, which I thought was quite cool.
There you
But
go.
we went and played, and there's a video of him playing with Billy Strings on stage at that festival.
Yeah.
So that was the first kind of exposure I had to the guy. And then I went on a deep dive of his stuff, and the guy's amazing. And also he's a massive, supposedly, Cryptopsy and specifically death metal fan, which I really appreciate as a former / current metalhead.
So I'm so glad that this subject came up. Everybody that follows me knows I'm just about to get excited about this. I've been trying to get in touch with Billy for a while. We've exchanged a couple DMs as well, but I'm fascinated by this trend that he talks about and that happened to me, where I grew up as a total metalhead.
Really?
That is completely and entirely my background.
You're so handsome and clean shaven. What's wrong?
The wounds have healed.
We'll inflict some fresh wounds in person one day.
Yeah, exactly. My teeth have been replaced.
Okay.
But then I went on this really hard tangent when I went to California, went to GIT for music school. I got deep into bluegrass, and I'm finding out that that's like a common thread. I guess so many people in this community have reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm into bluegrass, but I grew up a metalhead," and they're like, Billy Strings was a metalhead forever before he got into bluegrass, and I'm fascinated by that progression because I found that so many of those licks translate, and so many of those grooves.
It's the same. It's the same with fingerstyle. I mean, Andy McKee went on tour with Dream Theater. I mean, it's the. It would be foolish and arrogant not to acknowledge the technical aspect. I mean, death metal as a genre, specifically death metal, is way more technical than like my mum would ever understand. It requires immense musicianship to play.
Yeah.
So a lot of fans of the genre who are musicians will naturally, shift over to other genres that require a similar technical ability, such as bluegrass or fingerstyle guitar. I think that's pretty common. And also, it's really, I mean, harmonically, I'm not hugely into bluegrass, or I should say, I'm not hugely knowledgeable about bluegrass. But harmonically, I suppose it's. Would you say it is dissimilar to rock and metal, or is it? Are there common traits there?
All right, so here's
it's more major for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very major.
Yeah.
So here's my take on it, in my personal opinion. you know, in bluegrass, there is no drummer. And in that vein, the arrangement of the rhythm pieces is just as significant as the arrangement of the harmonic pieces, where the bass is literally the kick, the mandolin is literally the snare, and your banjo does a lot of the hi-hat work. And really, really good bluegrass bands, the strongest part about them is how they create the whole rhythmic arrangement and split it up. It's like how James Brown had a huge band, but everybody had a tiny little piece, and it made this one giant sound. It's the same thing. And so when I got really into bluegrass, the thing that really that the connection point wasn't the harmonic stuff, because you're not playing any riffs. I'd gone my whole first 12 years of playing guitar not learning what a 1-4-5 progression was. I was in riff land for a decade plus and didn't even know basic music theory, that there are these chords in a key, because I never played any goddamn chords. We're just riffing. It's just dime bag all day, right? And so
yeah, it's like how many metal guitar players does it take to change a light bulb? It changes between 1 and 5.
Right. Exactly. But what I found, the similarity, the connection point for me that I found was the right hand, the flat picking and the percussiveness that you have to make a boomy acoustic sound.
There's an aggression to the right hand, sure. Yeah. It's James Hetfield. All day long.
That was the connection point.
Okay.
It's all rhythm is my answer. And then once I fell in love with that, and I started, getting into like basics and fundamentals like chords and melodies, and things like that. Then it progressed, but that was the big jump for me. It was the rhythm in bluegrass more than anything else.
Interesting, yeah. My friends run a wonderful podcast called the Riff Hard podcast, and it's one of the guys running it is a friend of mine named John Brown, and he, in the metal world, he's very well known for his right hand and his down picking and his aggressive metal style. So shout out to those guys. They have a whole load of educational material on getting that right hand, that James Hetfield style, really, really locked in. And John plays in a band called Monument, who are very known for that kind of genty, modern metal style as well. So. Yeah, John Brown and Ollie. Ollie just released a new single. Have you heard it, Sashi? It's insane. Exactly as you say, insane. Shout out to Ollie Steele.
I have not heard it.
Oh, dude. Oh, we should stick that up. Fuck it. Let's just go.
All right. What do I search for?
Oh, OLLY, Ollie. STEELE.
Okay.
And what is the name of the track? It's new, so it would have been maybe a week old or something. Is it Balance?
Open.
That's the one. Yeah, let's stick that on.
All right.
So Ollie, my wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Ollie.
My wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Ollie. All right, here we go.
This is for you, Sashi. In the chat.
I love it. You're taking over my show. It's amazing. It's amazing.
The chat is taking over.
Yeah. Fishing, I see your request. Hang tight. Oh.
Beautiful looking guitar from the Organized guys as well.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
It's so good, man. So Ollie, I've known Ollie for a long time, and again, I think it's only recently that I've seen his own solo work come out, and he's great, man. He's again one of these underrated guys in the scene. Ollie and John both playing in a band called Monuments, just outstanding players in their own right, but also their solo stuff is really exceptional. That whole really tight metal rhythm, right hand kind of riffing, and it's like, yeah, I guess we're talking about Van Halen with the whole almost like leady rhythm type playing.
Yeah.
These guys have this kind of rhythmy leady type playing, if that makes any sense. It's sort of like sucked in modern, super tight, super scratchy, lots of detail, and you just can't not do this. This kind of groove. That's great. I love it. Shout out to Ollie.
Love it, Ollie. One of our moderators, the very celebrated Fishing Idaho on a Harley, wants to play some Monster Magnet.
Monster Magnet. That's a bit of a left. I saw Monster Magnet at Download Festival in, I want to say, 2007.
Yeah, I haven't heard any Monster Magnet in forever. I can't even tell you how long it's been, but he wants to start at 3230.
Well, shout out to Hellfest. I mean, that's a sick festival. I mean, from the UK, Hellfest is just across the water, right? And they really are kind of dominating the metal festival kind of community in Europe. Maybe even alongside, maybe even more than Wacken. I don't know what you guys in the chat think, but Hellfest, freaking massive festival right now.
All right, let's play some. I can't wait to go back to one of these. Fishing, what a deep cut. Monster Magnet.
Yeah, right.
Going down now.
Yo, Michael.
What'd you say?
I said, yo, Michael. I can hear this from my computer, but can I just nip next door and have a piss really quickly?
Do it.
We can keep this playing if you want. I can hear it, so I can still listen to it. But I need to do this. I'll be right back.
By the way, Mike's hilarious. Love this guy.
How much does one have to pay? Fire pigeon bells. Lots of time grab on mine. Who's gonna measure land? He's down by the river. He gets up and he walks on down. Ooh, she's spaceship that's parked at your doorstep, and it's waiting to take you away now. We're going down. We're going down.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for Mike to get back here. If you guys are just tuning in, we're sitting down with the great Mike Dawes, who is an incredible guest. I am absolutely, thoroughly enjoying this. Mods, you guys are doing a great job. US Elite Ski, see you out there too. If you have a pick you want to play for Mike, let me know. We already did one mod pick from Fishing with the Monster Magnet. See Mr. Tonic Amps out there. Good to see you. You got Chris. You got Forrest Gump out there.
Man,
Jim Croce is operating.
This is a fun ass stream you've got here, man. Your subscribers or whoever it is in the chat, they seem like very cool people. You guys are very cool people, and I'm getting progressively more drunk as we've established.
So
Hilarious and awful.
So look, I'll zoom in to tell you this. So typically we do Tuesday nights, and it is not uncommon. It is not uncommon for us to go like, 4 hours of just taking requests, playing tracks, and it is not uncommon for me to rip through 6 or 8 beers. And fortunately, they almost all get blocked. So I don't have to worry about the next day. Yeah, because we're playing other people's music, and sometimes it gets copyright and
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, dude. Blocking is we've all seen Beato's channel. For those of you that aren't,
yeah. Here's an interesting thing. So obviously I've released things on YouTube, and that's where I basically owe my career to. But because I've been touring for so long, it's only this last year that I've, with the pandemic, been let's just say reintroduced to the algorithm in its current state.
Isn't it gentle and giving?
Well, I mean, so far I haven't really had any issues because I haven't, I've uploaded music. Most of it's been original, so it's okay. But why don't we turn things over to you? Like, what is going on with YouTube as a current YouTubist? What is grinding one's gears about said platform, and is it algorithmically pleasant or grotesque in the realm that you inhabit?
Well, it's a moving target, and it moves fast, and it's different for everyone. I can only speak in my lane, but I can tell you this: if you play other people's music like I do, like Rick does, we all know Rick.
Yeah. Shut up,
dude, Rick's the man. Love Rick. Do you know Rick?
Yeah, we met at NAMM once, but we interact occasionally.
Yeah, okay. Rick's awesome. I met him at GitCon a few years ago, and we've been pretty close friends ever since. And he's been an absolute...
In the UK, Git means something different. So sorry.
What does it mean?
It means like an old Git, like an old geezer.
Okay.
Just imagining a convention center filled with geriatrics, angry geriatrics. That's what that would mean over here.
Love it. So anyway, yeah, Rick's been like a mentor to me. He's been amazing. So anyway, if you play other people's music, because I chose education, Rick chose education.
Whoa. Shreducation.
That's right. But you can't show things without context, right? You can't just talk. You have to like play the track. It's like fundamentals. A student comes into a room, they say, I want to learn this. You got to like play that. So new bands are hip to it. They get that what we're doing, like you showing your friends and bringing some of your tracks, is exposing people to things that maybe they don't know about, right? It's the spread is good.
So for example, I saw a bump in my views on my Jump cover and my subscribers since you put up your reaction video, actually.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. My pleasure. But older bands, the gray hairs.
Well, the labels.
Well, it depends. Some people own their rights and some people don't, and some bands, it's one person that wrote it, and some bands, it's everybody in the band that has the rights. And some of the rights, especially for people that have died, are owned by a conglomerate, right?
Yeah,
it's a shitstorm. Here's the moral to the story. The moral to the story is that when you're doing newer bands, most everybody gets that it's awesome. Older bands, there's so many issues, and you can get blocks, and it's a whole thing. But it's getting better, and this is how I internalize it and think about it. And again, I know you're not very familiar with it or into the genre, but the jam scene, like the Deadheads and whatever,
Mm.
they were known as like the scene that allowed people to come in and tape shows.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, sure.
but that didn't happen overnight. People people kept coming. They kept coming with their microphone and recording setups. They got in trouble. They got kicked out of shows.
Hmm.
They got, people got their stuff broken. Some people went to jail, and it happened show after show, year after year. And eventually, the band had to make a decision. Are we going to police the music? Or are we just going to let it spread how it spreads? And that decision came from people basically just continuing to do it regardless of the consequences. And even
Well,
in
that's the reason Spotify exists.
Exactly. And so you can either decide to ride the wave, you can get crashed on the wave, or you can get left behind the wave, right? And so the digital thing is happening. It's been happening. It's over, right? And this new thing of people like me, people like Rick, or other reaction channels or whatever, playing people's music and spreading it is just the new version of that. And I say all of that to say that it's getting better. More and more people through COVID and through people like Rick and I and all these channels sharing this process of things getting blocked and not blocked. You're starting to see bands and labels who always blocked things start to stop. They're stopping it, right? And they're starting to do profit sharing with us, with YouTubers. And so the tide is very much turning, and you can feel it. It's not there yet. There's still a lot of days I wake up and I look at my email box and, I've gotten a block here or a strike there, and, you think your channel's in jeopardy, but you keep going anyway because there's so many people behind you and you feel like it's good, and all you're doing is sharing music. And telling people how awesome it is. And it's getting better. Even in the past 18 months, I mean, it's getting so much better. But it's still very early, and I think people forget that.
Well, it's interesting to hear your perspective on that. I mean, if someone uploads a video reacting to one of my tunes and they have no subscribers, or they're just then you would just naturally consider it just a fan doing a thing. If you see someone doing a reaction video and they have loads of subscribers, then you see it as, first of all, that's really cool. Second of all, that's the kind of press that labels spend money on. But the little thing, the little parentheses, the little asterisk here is the value of the overall artistic community comes from these guys in the chat. If we reach a stage in culture and in society in general where people consuming the kind of content that you and I are putting out, well, let's just say people consuming the content that, anyone puts out, if they stop valuing the artist, if that's where we get to, then that is bad for the artist and it is bad for the art. So I would say more responsibility arguably lies with the people than with the labels and the YouTubers.
Yes.
You guys have to show the musicians that you give a fuck.
Yes.
If we reach a stage in culture where people don't give a fuck, and we reach a stage, I joked at the beginning that your reaction video almost has as many views as my video. Let's just forget the fact that it's a tribute video, and that doesn't really matter anyway. But imagine that was the situation where we reach a stage in culture where a reaction video doubles, triples, quadruples the number of views and therefore advertising revenue that any artist's original content gets. I would consider that a cultural issue that as a society, and I hate to be cliched, we live in a society, but that's something that we need to really think about, because the art will stop coming because everyone will just start reacting to stuff that is, like you said in your own words, just hitting the upload button.
That's it.
So as long as the fans are fans and they keep being fans and they just be sick and awesome and comment and share and tag people and stuff, then we have this symbiotic relationship online, which is I don't see. I think the only reason why it arguably couldn't be sustainable is if old super boomer labels go to Congress and make it so. But I don't think that's going to happen. You know, I think it's all down to the fans, man. Like as long as you guys give a shit, then we're good. Because people who give a shit, they create the advertising and they create the Bandcamp sales or the show tickets or whatever.
That's it. No, that's it. That's it. It's it. And I think a lot of the the gray hairs, they perhaps have just lost sight of it, or they don't need to pay attention in the way that you and I do, knowing that everybody in this chat, everybody on your website or everybody or whatever, they are the ones that make it all possible, and crafting everything for them, around them, is just the only way forward, and technology just accentuates and accelerates that.
I mean, it's the internet. You can't stop the internet. Like, just
no, the cat's out of the bag, man. And one other thing before we move on a side note, just so you know, I didn't monetize that video because you didn't monetize yours.
Oh, cool.
So not that it matters to everyone, but I just wanted you to know because you brought up the ad dollars.
Yeah, well, that's just me being British, man. I mean, like at the end of the day, I have a voice inside me that's just like, what would grandma think? There's this British thing of just like, well, I mean, that aside, my video is a tribute and designed to be such. That's why it's free. But what a lot of people don't realize, by the way, is if ads appear on that kind of stuff, that's the publisher of the original song.
Yes.
Putting ads on, and there's nothing you can do about that. So if you see ads on that kind of content, even if someone in the description is saying we're not monetizing it, be aware that if there are ads, that might not be coming from them. That's the original copyright owner's publisher putting ads on.
Yeah. And I
that was really annoying because ads ended up on my video and I was like, damn it.
So again, here's another conversation that doesn't get talked about enough. People don't know because they, whatever, but they think that you're in control of everything. I only dispute like if something gets demonetized and they take the money, fine. The only thing that I dispute is when I see advertisers put ads in the middle of my videos. So like you'll see like big videos, they started putting ads like every minute or so, and it breaks it up.
Really?
When I
don't know how they operate. I don't know how that works with Google. Is it auto placed or do they just say we want 10 ads on this video? I don't know.
So it's auto placed. So really high performing videos that have especially really long retention. So I have a couple of videos that average over like 12 minutes of retention, which is like it's very, very rare to have hundreds of thousands of views and 10 or 12 minutes of retention. Those videos, advertisers, they try to cram as many ads as they can in there. And those are the ones, even though I would make the money, those are the ones that I dispute just so I can remove the ads from the middle, because I can't stand the ads that cut up, because I'm playing music and it's just like right when you're going to do something, it's like a Geico commercial. I'm just like, absolutely not. Like if you want to support me, you can be a student of mine on my website. Like I'm not putting ads in the. So sometimes I dispute them to remove the ads.
Right, that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because I hadn't really paid that much attention to that side of YouTube because of just being on the road and like.
Yeah,
the YouTube videos would get me the gigs, and then I'd go out, but I wouldn't really be looking at my analytics or anything like that. So that's really interesting to hear. It's interesting to hear that you can do that. That you can dispute ads based on their position. But yeah, man, the internet is still evolving. When I started, it was
still early.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, the first 5, 6, 7 videos I put out all went viral. You know what I mean? It's like that was the time.
Well, that's because you're you, man.
No, hey, man. Well, that's very kind of you, but it's Facebook actually let YouTube links be shared. You know what's funny? I did
you could do that.
Yeah, I did a video. I did a cover of One by Metallica, back in like 2017.
Yeah.
And Metal Hammer magazine published it, and it got like 40 million views, and then got shared by Classic Rock magazine and got another 40 million. It got like 100 million views on Facebook, right?
That's crazy.
And I was joking to some friends of mine the other day, maybe I should do a YouTube video saying how much money I made from 100 million views. The answer, fucking nothing, dude. Like, it was like a time Facebook video, 0. The next year they introduced adverts on Facebook videos. But you know, it's amazing how much social clout views have, as opposed to actual income. And that's why I miss shows so much, because you know,
absolutely,
it was just boots on the ground, heart to heart, artistic exchange, tourist sites, meet people, hang out, go for drinks, have a coffee, and then someone enjoys your stuff, and then they buy your stuff, and it's just very old school. And I think I'm an old soul, you know. I really miss that, and I long for that. That's why Patreon's good as well. Patreon is like the club of joy during the pandemic. So shout out to Patreon people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, it's just, you have to, people think that, I mean, it's just, you have to have so many views that are monetized to make a living just on YouTube ad revenue. I just completely go the other route. I don't worry about making any money on YouTube, you know, and I just, you know, education's my thing. If people want to support me, they can take my lessons and courses, and I'm so happy to have them.
The clues in the title: Guitar Teacher Reacts.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's it's all love. It's all love.
It's all love. Let's get back to some music. We've been on a while. I don't know what your time frame is here,
dude. It's, hey, guess what? Am I at a sound check? No.
Right. Not at a sound check.
Other than my girlfriend, who I should probably go and say hi to at some point, you know. Yeah.
All right. So you gave me 2 more tracks. Which one do you want to do? We can do both. Whatever you want to do.
Well, I tell you what. Let's look at Cenk. Okay. So that's spelled CENK. So I was talking about wanting to share music from people I know, and I've shared enough life experiences with these people that I know they're good people. So the last tour I did...
By the way, I love that that's how you phrase, or that's how you set up everybody you're presenting. That just like, if you know they're good people, you enjoy it that much more. I love that that's like your baseline. I love it.
If you're a soloist and you're a cunt, then I don't care. I'm sorry, like... I don't know what to say.
Preach, baby. Preach. Yeah, tell them.
Come on. So, and that is extra apparent in improvisation, and I think that leads us on to this next guy. So the last tour I did before lockdown was the 20th anniversary. I was hosting the 20th anniversary International Guitar Night Tour, and that was 33 shows and 10 workshops across North America, Jan, Feb, March 2020. And as it ended, you know, we started in Alaska in January. It was like minus 39 degrees. Our nose hair...
Thanks, Fantasy.
Freezing. Appreciate that. My nose hair was freezing as I left Fairbanks Airport, you know. But anyway, it's 4 guitar players from different countries, all playing together. And we all play our solo sets, then we play duets with each other, and then some quartets to end. And we played everywhere. In your neck of the woods, we played Owings Mills, and we played Wolf Trap Barns. But it ended in March as the pandemic started, and we were on the Pacific Northwest. So it was really, the last few shows of that tour, the venues were like half full because people had bought tickets, but they were staying away because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Cenk was on this tour. So it was myself kind of hosting. We had Jim Chemo West, who's from Hawaii and plays guitar like Hawaiian style, but he plays with Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, he's Weird Al's guitar player. And then we had Olli Soikeli, the amazing Finnish gypsy jazz player, who is just an absolute Speedy Gonzalez freak of nature. And also the only single guy among us, so we got to have some fun with him on the tour. And the king of Tinder. And sorry, he's Finnish. Everyone from Finland is just good looking. Okay. Anyway, Cenk Erdogan is how you pronounce this guy's name. It's spelt Cenk with a C, Erdogan, but the correct pronunciation is Cenk Erdogan. And he is a master of the fretless guitar. and he's from Istanbul. And for those of you that don't know in the chat, music from that part of the world doesn't really obey the same rules as music from the West. So when we're thinking of 12 notes, in an octave, over there it's different. And there's that's why they play fretless instruments, so they can get these crazy half quarter, crazy fractions, these absolutely crazy. If you've ever been to a Muslim country and you've heard the call to prayer, it's that kind of sound. But Cenk is the master on the fretless guitar. And every night he played just before me, so I got to watch him from the side of the stage. And the audience were just going nuts for him, and he was just crushing it, just improvising and doing his thing. So this video that I've shared with you, I've never seen. I just wanted to take a random Cenk Erdoğan Turkish fretless guitar improvisation and just let's watch it together. And hopefully it's sick, because he is incredible, great guy, and an absolute master.
You are a tremendous guest. You know that?
Oh, thank you, Michael. You're a tremendous.
No, this is great. So we're doing an ice cold reaction for both of us.
Well, I know
say his name and say his name one more time.
Cenk Erdoğan. The spelling is CENK Erdoğan, like the same last name as the Turkish leader who Cenk is not a fan of. Maybe I should. No one's a fan of, really. But Cenk Erdoğan, Turkish fretless guitar master and all-round good guy.
I love it. Let's do it. We'll take the whole thing in 3 minutes 24 seconds.
Oh, and by the way, sorry. Yeah, first time playing this guitar. He just picked up this guitar for the first time and recorded himself playing it. That's all I know. That's all I've seen.
Okay. The first baritone fretless acoustic. Okay. I'm pretty excited.
Me too.
I dig it.
Beautiful. Cenk
It is.
Erdogan off of Istanbul, Turkey. The man is amazing. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, live every night on that tour, we wrote a song and we played it together as our duet because everyone had a duet with everyone. But he had a duet with Oli Soykeli that absolutely crushed because Cenk is a very studied musician. He's done his homework and he's fluent in many styles. And they had a kind of almost gypsy jazz type piece in the repertoire, but on fretless and archtop as a duo, and it just crushed. And someone in the comments just said, like, the space music is the space between notes. The space is great. So that's just watching Cenk play there took me back to those tours. Like that tour was so wonderful because trying to imagine these big theaters in the US, like 1,000 to 2,000 caps, some of them a bit smaller, like Wolf Trap Barns, like 500 or so, but you get a different vibe, like an intimate vibe.
Yeah.
But it's just pin drop silence, amazing sound, amazing PA. And you know what? When you're playing like that and leaving the space, it's like people in the audience are even holding their breath subconsciously. They're not even filling the space with their own breathing. There's this atmosphere. And when a piece ends, the roar of the audience and the support and love, and I just want people in the chat to understand, hopefully through these musical selections as well, that like music and fucking social media guitar videos are not necessarily the same thing. And if you are creating something more in the vein of what Cenk's doing, please don't feel disheartened that it doesn't get enough likes or something. Like, please stop giving a fuck. Like, when you're at a show, no one gives a crap about the guy playing 30-second notes for 4 minutes in every single song. No one cares. It's the song that makes them feel something, that makes them just enjoy the night, and that's what makes them remember the show, and that's what makes them actually, if you want to talk about this, that's what makes them buy the merch, actually, if you want to go into that realm. So shout out to anyone bold enough to be honest in their expression and put music out there in 2021 that is actually classy as fuck. I hope that makes sense to you guys in the chat, especially anyone that's a guitar player that's been tagged in the same guitar videos of just all day, every day. Forget about it. Just play guitar and have a beer, and life's good.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I can't think of a better way to wrap up this stream. Dude, you have been a tremendous guest. Thank you so much. Like I said, you inspire me for sure, man, and it's great. It's just so great. I'm just gonna leave it the way you left it, man, because you're preaching right there, and I really appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time and coming joining us today, man, and bringing the tracks that you did.
It's a pleasure. And like where I am right now in Bristol, UK, we're properly locked down, and we have been for a very long time. So I don't often get to talk about guitar or music with many people. So thanks for listening. Thanks for indulging my bullshit. And it's a pleasure to meet you, and a pleasure to meet the guys in the chat as well, and see you guys out there on, social media, Patreon-y, Spotify, on the road, at a show, whenever life gets back to normal, right?
Well, when I finish this stream, I'm going to make sure that your link to your channel is in the description. Please, if you guys haven't yet, please go give Mike a sub. And dude, when real life resumes, when things get back to normal, you get back to touring, you come through my neck of the woods, I'll definitely be there. We'll have a beer.
We'll have a beer, 100%.
Yeah, man. If NAMM happens and you go to that,
some crabby tots, right? In your neck of the woods.
I'll take you to the spot. I got you. I'm not telling you where we're going. It's going to be some back road, paper place, but it's going to knock your socks off.
Always the best stuff, man.
Always the best stuff.
Appreciate it.
Everybody, thanks again for tuning in on this special Friday edition with Mike Dawes. Really appreciate you all. Really appreciate everyone that is a subscriber over at the website. You guys make all this free content possible. You know that, and you know what it means to me. I will see you this coming Tuesday. We have Mark Lettieri coming on from Snarky Puppy and so many other things to talk. Yeah, this Tuesday. We go live every Tuesday at around 9. We got some.
I'll be online. I'll check it out.
Please, dude, Mark is the man. We got some really, really interesting guests coming up soon, too. Thank you for all the support. The channel just keeps growing. Nothing but positivity in the comments, nothing but great react requests. We got a bunch of good videos coming, and I'll see you all real soon. Mike, you hang tight until we're finished here, and I will see you guys right around the way. Cheers.